Morning everyone! So today I thought that I would do a quick little video before I have to go to work about how I keep my face powder free. And what I mean is I don't set my foundation with a powder. My secret actually is the Nanoblur. Now I say virtually powder free because this product is not really good for underneath the eyes. It tends to get a little crepey. So to set the under eye concealer, I still use a powder. I tend to use a more lightweight reflective powder like this one from NYX called Radiant Finishing Powder. It's high definition powder, so it actually has a more lightweight texture and it doesn't settle in the lines. And also, I don't know why the blue has been used the most because I try to swirl it around evenly. It's got these different colors in it which provides a little bit of color correction, and this white color right here provides a little bit of, it looks super white, but when you put it on it's not that bad. It provides a little bit of luminous quality underneath the eyes, so you want to avoid that papery, crepey look. I'm going to give a little demonstration, and sorry it's backwards, about how to use the Nanoblur. This product is great because, as we know, the cakey, powdery foundation look is out and the fresh face, dewy look is in. The only problem with fresh face, dewy type of foundations is sometimes they don't really last throughout the whole day. And if you are in a job or a career where you have to have your makeup looking nice all day, or, you know, if you are just a person that likes to have your makeup last throughout the day, which I don't think any woman doesn't like. So that's why I think that the use of Nanoblur is a good idea. It's a high definition finishing primer. I don't actually know if a finishing primer is a real term, but it's a primer that goes over your foundation as opposed to under your foundation. So before you put it on, you want to make sure that your foundation is totally set. Now I use this with some mousse foundation, but I have found that with the mousse foundation alone it's a little bit harsh. So I do a layer of mousse foundation and then a very light layer of liquid foundation over that because the Nanoblur works the best with liquid foundation. So before you start, you want to make sure that the back of your hands and your fingers are completely clean because you're going to be touching all your makeup that's already done and you don't want to mess anything up. Now, I'm going to open it. This is my brand new one. You can find this at Walgreens. You can find this, I believe, at Ulta, or you can find it on Indeed.com. Indeed Laboratories is the company that makes it. And a little disclaimer, I actually do work for the company that distributes this in the US. It's a Canadian company, but I would not be talking about it if I didn't think it was the most amazing product. The first time you get it, it's going to be a little confusing. You got to work with it, but you'll achieve amazing results. I'm going to put a little bit on the back of my hand. And you don't really need a lot. I find, I mean, that might even be a little too much. I find that I start out with as little bit as possible and kind of add it to the back of my hand if I need more. So remember, your foundation should be completely set because if your foundation is still wet, it's not going to come out as well. I take these two fingers. This is a very weak finger. You don't want to use your finger because it can leave indents. So I find that using this finger alone isn't enough to spread it out because you don't want it clumping in certain areas because then it doesn't look as good. So I use this finger to kind of like spread it out more, but this finger to pat it in, and these are very weak fingers, so you're not going to leave indentations in your makeup. And if it's dry, you shouldn't be doing that anyways. So I take like the tiniest bit on the back of my fingers and I pat it in. The chin. I kind of work my way up. Again, like the tiniest bit. And you want to wipe off any excess. You don't want any, you want it to be spread on your fingers quite evenly. I'm avoiding the under eye area as much as possible. I'm only going up about to here. I know a lot of women have, or anyone that wears foundation has a lot of problems keeping it on your chin and your nose. So that's where I kind of concentrate first. Especially the T-zone. Oh my gosh, this is so good at keeping the T-zone matte. When I do this, I used to carry around oil blotting papers. When I do this, like, I don't even have to use them to touch up. And this seems like it's going to be enough. I might need a little bit more for my forehead. Very, very light application. And you can even, I don't really find myself needing it on right here and right here. I kind of try to concentrate on where my pores are a little bit larger because it is really, really good at giving the appearance that your pores are smaller. I'm going to take a little bit more. And this is very sticky at first, but it dries to a completely matte. That's why it's, when you put it on your skin and then you try to put the foundation over it, which I did try because I was like, oh, well, I don't have to follow the directions. I can do it underneath my makeup. It'll be way too sticky for any foundation to stick to it. I don't know. It just doesn't work. And also, I found that if I try to put like my powder, like a blush or a bronzer over it, it tends to get a little, what's the word, patchy? Yeah. So you definitely want to wait until you are completely done doing your makeup before you do this. And again, you really don't, I mean, you can do the whole face if you want. If you have a tendency to, like, you know, sit there like this and touch your face, then you definitely are going to want to put some right here. If you're oily, then you probably want to put it all over your face. If you just get problems in the T-zone, I mean, you can pat it really lightly, like just in these areas that I'm showing you. But just to be completely thorough, I'm going to put it right here and right here. Another thing I've noticed, if you wax your lip and you haven't waxed for a long time, I would probably avoid putting this on the lips because it kind of, I don't know, it makes the hairs, even if you're blonde, it makes the hairs kind of stick out. I don't know, I've been asking people all week, like, does it look like I have a mustache? And no one else can see it, but I can see it. But I do have a tendency to have my foundation come off like under the nose and around the nose, so I'm just going to pat a little bit. So again, this is a fantastic high definition primer that goes over your makeup, so it's going to be the last step that you do, but I guarantee that you will never go back to, you know, your kabuki or powder brushes or your heavy powders or your cakiness after you discover this product. It's just worked wonders for me, and I hope you pick it up, and I will provide down below the prices and the places that you can buy it. All right, have a good one.